Hello again, Ian Stinky with Mastermind Games, back for the last video from Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress's Escalation expansion, the Cultist Firebrand, tanned skin 09044. So, flamethrower aside and buffing solo or character aside, apparently according to the description, the Firebrand's flames come from directly from his body. A gift of the Chaos Gods. So we're going to go over the flash here. And I'm going to be closely mimicking the color scheme I did on the Cultist of the Abyss in the last video, so it'll be very similar. And what's funny is he's about as tall as a Primaris Space Marine. In fact, over the last video when I showed the complete pictures of the complete painted models to my girlfriend, she made a crack about by the power of chaos I can wield Astartes weapons. Right, Cultist Champion was taller than a standard Space Marine, so I'm getting a bit of reverb here, but fortunately I am going to be done before the speaker blows out. So, yeah, we'll stop here before some skull splitting. Okay, that almost went really bad, so Uniform Gray. Cut the feed just in time to avoid splitting the eardrums of you, the viewer, and myself. And using just enough water to thin the paint, keeping the brush moist but not overly wet. I cannot speak any more today. Getting at least a nominal coating in there, even though you can't really see it. There's a leg detail. It's nearly impossible to see, but I know it's there. And chaotic red. Unfortunately, the optimal angle for painting, the optimal angle for recording to avoid blur are not. They do not coincide. And yeah, that emblem does hang freely off. But I need to get his sort of kilt or skirts, whatever you want to call it. So he's got a grenade, he's got his flamethrowers, he's got a pistol. And somewhere along the rules, I can't remember if it's for the 40k rules or the Blackstone Fortress rules, or both right this second. He explodes when he's killed. The same fires that fuel his weapon and course from his body also serve as a sort of last parting shot. And now I need to let that dry before I do anything else. So come back in a bit. Okay. Dark Elf Skin 09164. Not too much of this. Just a bit right here on the holster for the pistol. And the strap holding the charm to the armor. Let's see. It's a little thick right there, but the boots are the last thing. A bit of cloth I think I need to do. And making sure to go up into the under the skirt there on the leg. Yeah, I need to leave it, let that dry before moving on. Okay. Next, Stormy Gray 09088. I hope I'm thinking about this right. Just gonna go in the grip of the las pistol, or well, it's a pistol, some kind might not be a las pistol. Now that I think about it, but I'm gonna put it on the flamethrower here and the grenades on his belt. I'm gonna stop just short of the muzzle here. I think I'm using that terminology right. Okay, finish up the handle from this angle. And I'm thinking I need to let this dry for a bit before I move on. So, back in a bit. Alright. Tarnished Steel 09206. Yeah, that's the one I want right now. And I'm going to need a fair bit of this. Again, using just enough water to thin the paint. Going down all the armor, starting with the chainmail. Okay. And the grays, and again I'm going to be playing around with the shading and highlighting like I did with the cultists in the last video to get a specific effect. Bracers. And the armor here. Sort of a combination breastplate and cowl. With leering faces over the chest and a demonic looking mouth. Where the cultist's head sticks out. I'm losing my ability to speak language tonight. Going carefully behind the head to get the sort of armored hood behind. This armor would largely be symbolic. Likely does provide a fair amount of armor protection, but say largely symbolic. See what else. You know what? I think that's enough of that. I'm gonna let that dry completely and then get some bronze and some fire, and we can go from there. So I think I will go ahead and take some matte white though and prep the flame. So because I want the flame bright, oh boy, I'm starting to lose my ability to speak, and I just said that. I my short-term memory for the night is shot too. Because I want the flame such a bright color, I will be just prepping it in white first, since I used black primer for an overall gritty look on the model itself. This doesn't have to be flawless, but I do want nice, pretty solid coverage. Now the barrel of the flamethrower here, the top particularly here, looks like it looks like a leering demon visage, but it could also be done as flame as well. So a little more is kind of, it's a bit thick right there. Something along the lines of that. Should be a decent basing. I see a bare spot on the tusk here. Getting back in that plate, that tarnished steel. Getting mixed up with my color names for a second. Alright, let that dry and move on in a bit. Okay. Old bronze 09197. I'm going to change up these tusks just a bit. And carefully, let's see here, pick out this portion in the bronze. Just for a little difference in color. So, last minute change. It's going to happen sometimes. You're going to get a better idea than what you started with. Then the chaos icon here. The bottom of the holster has a little bit of metal work. I'll do that as well. The big one of it, this hose. The metal work around the base of the flamethrower. And I'm going to leave the bulk of it gray, but I'm just going to get this tube in the bronze. This is pretty much for carrying fuel to the flamethrower, although in this case, again, according to the literature in the set, these flames are fueled by the Firebrand itself. Sort of a sort of unholy reservoir of demonic power. Which kind of makes for an interesting chaos blessing, for lack of a better word, being turned into a human incendiary. I am really out of sight. Phoenix Red 09005. He's in a little more water than I normally would. It's not quite a shade, but, or yeah, not quite a wash, but just a bit more than I typically would for a base coat. Unless I'm just keeping my brush really wet right now. Letting this paint flow around into the flames. And if it overextends, that'll work for me. I do like pretty solid coverage though. Let's get it pretty good. Go back into that bronze because it doesn't look quite right. So a little more here. I'm gonna take a bit of the bronze and a bit of the iron. Just mix that together and get that kind of in around here. That's a bit much. Let's just dilute that a little bit. What I want is the impression that there we go. I want the impression that the demonic looking visage here is spewing fire, which I believe is also the sculptor's intent. So now I'm going to let that dry completely before I move on to the shading. Okay, time to start on the shading. Now I'll actually do the flames after the bronze, so I'm starting with that Pewter 09196. Thinning with 1 part water to 1 part paint. Making this into a wash. Excuse me, we're just going to go over the base coats. And just letting this flow into the cracks and grooves there. Okay. Let that dry and move on. Alright. Next, matte black. Now with particularly dark colors like this, you'll need 2 to 3 parts water to 1 part paint for a proper wash, otherwise it'll dominate your base coat and muddy things up in a way you're probably not going to like too much. Get this on the grenades. Looks like it's got one of each type. Crack and frag. Or at least one of each type associated with the Imperium anyway. The talk about pistol, and that's still a bit dark. Keeping the brush nice and wet. But you know what, I'm going to roll with it. Going down the length. The flamethrower here. And coming down the back. Just go up the opposite way, make sure you get the handle he's holding. Alright. And then I'm going to take Blackened Steel 09205 and do just the tips of the tusks on his armor. The rest of the armor will be shaded something else. With the standard 1-to-1 on the paint to water there. Okay. And I'm going to let that dry before moving. Nope, not done yet. Fire Red 09004, we'll get the fire shaded. Just go all along that red-orange there. Alright. Yeah, that's good. Let that all dry up and move on. Okay. Gunmetal Blue 09126. This bottle is running pretty low, but I've got enough to do what I need to do here. This is a dark metallic blue. Starting with the chainmail. Being very careful it comes close to the other colors. I want to make certain it fills in the divots around the skull and flames motif on that greave, the leg armor there. Okay, and I am dropping frames like madness for no reason. Are we stabilized? The joys of technical difficulties. If I could figure out what's causing that, I could prevent it. being real careful getting the back of the hood behind the head because I do not want to hit the skin tone. Okay. I'm going to take a gamble. Dark Elf Shadow 09163 and get the boots and the holster and see where I end up with that. And again, thinning with 1 part water to 1 part paint. So that worked. That's just going to leave the gray, the red, and the flesh tone, which I think I can do all at once, so just about there on shading. Okay, let's see if I can finish up the shading now. Stormy Gray 09088. This is just going to go on the pant leg that's exposed. Well, I suppose you can see a little bit of the other one, kinda, but it's not really a visible area. So thin that out. Just a bit up there. Mostly worried about the visible pant leg. And red brick 09001. Again, I am thinning with 1 part water, 1 part paint. Repetition is key, so I cannot stress enough the importance of fitting the paint to the task at hand. Keeping the brush nice and wet during this step. So pretty much just a sort of ceremonial robe over the armor. And then tanned skins, or no, tanned shadow 09043. Going over the skin there. So it seems he's wearing this big cowl-like armor instead of any kind of shirt. Now I'm going to let that dry up as I can start highlighting and detailing. Okay, time to highlight and detail. Matte white. Oh boy, that brush is... I don't know if I can use that one. What about this one? I can use this one. Yeah, like, I'm trying to carefully fill in the eyes, but my brush isn't cooperating very well. Right. Give that a second. Matte black. Just carefully dotting in pupils. It looks a little weird, but I got some weird angles I gotta work with. It's alright. It's okay. Tanned highlight 09045. And I'm switching to a dry brushing technique. Ragged feather brush. Straight paint, no water. Rubbing most of the excess out on the paper towel I have on hand. Make it look like there's nothing left. And then dust the area to be affected going against any raised edges. Make sure I'm not dropping thousands of frames a second. Yeah, it's helping a little on that funny eye. To a certain extent, it's making it look worse, but this guy's a chaos thrall, so it works with him. Works for him. I'm going to do Misty Gray 09090 next. And focusing on the readily visible surfaces, so more or less exteriors only. Just knock my paint for a loop. I think I've got a bottle here that I need to retrieve that fell over, because it was. Make sure it's still good, yes. And uniform gray. Yeah, this one next. Again, I focus on the readily visible surfaces. Which one next? Vampire red. And I dropped a few frames there. That's no good. This is a little tricky just because of how that hose going from his spine is. Again, my focus is on what's readily visible. It's not too bad. Dark Elf Highlight 09165. Keep an eye on my frames here. So the focus seems to be a little better right this minute, but that's still something I need to keep working on and keep playing with till I get it right. Gotta go back in that uniform gray because I got a little bit of the red on the pistol there. There we go. Let's see which one next. How about Tarnished Brass 09198. Definitely want to get this before I do the flame. And of course the tusks on his helmet here. And true silver 09207, just a little bit of this. Almost empty, but that's all I need out of it. Just polish up the tips of the tusks here. Fire Orange 09006. Okay. I was dropping frames for a second there, and we're okay. Here, this one. Makes me a little nervous how much that's wiggling around, but it should be all right. And I thought about doing something a little weirder color-wise for the flame, but decided against it on this one. Again, I got the second set of these guys for the Abominable Intelligence expansion. And now, Scorched Metal 09125, which that's a deck of cards that just high difficulty challenges, both combat and challenge cards for the encounter deck. So, playing on hard mode, and again, I still haven't beaten the game on normal yet. Been getting my teeth kicked in, but that's how the game goes. So it would probably be a good long while before I even try the Abominable Intelligence cards, but I do want the option at some point. Again, my focus is on what's readily visible, so some of the breastplate's just going to kind of stay in shadow there. Yeah, that's getting exactly what I want. That's getting just the edges and leaving the blue with some of the steel there. And that's, I like that. I like that quite a bit. And now I'm almost done with the highlighting. I'm going to take Sun Yellow 09008, do another quick layer of highlights on the flames. Unfortunately, this one's about cash, and I don't know that I have a replacement, but that's something I can do in a bit, or do later on this month. Okay. Might have a bit too much paint in the brush, but you know what, I think that's working here. Yeah, that looks nice. That looks nice. I like that. Now I'm taking some more matte black. I think that's enough. Hope that's enough. Switching to a flat head, there's the one I like. Using just enough water to thin the paint. Being real careful where the model's feet come close to the edge. I'm just going to line the base. Just gives it a nice little uniform finish. This can be any color you want. Okay. I'm going to let that dry completely. And I can add some callus to it. So, back in a bit. Oh, my focus is working. I'll take a little well for so long now it's fighting me again. Alright, back in a bit. Alright, time to get some base material on here. White glue and water. And mix it all up using a brush I have dedicated for this purpose. Oh well. And carefully paint around the feet here. And give it a dip in my base material, which is talus rock debris. I use a mix of fine and coarse. That's pretty good. And using a spare brush that's dry, push it away from areas I don't want, using a downward motion. Alright. Got a little nugget out of there. It's not bad. Now I need to let this set for 20 to 30 minutes, give or take. Like all your drying times, that's going to be contingent on humidity and heat. So let that dry set and then wrap up in a bit. Alright, time to finish up. The last thing I have to do that I can't do on camera is to varnish the model, but I can seal the basic material here with scenic cement. This is a spray or brush on adhesive that Woodland Scenics puts out. Glass eyedropper, because this stuff will bond to plastic fast. I'm just going to drip it into the base. And if you don't give this material time to set first, this will just make divots in your flock, towels in this case, sand, or whatever else you feel like using. And that is it. And this is the last official Blackstone Fortress model I will have until I get some of the newer expansions that have come out, like that Death Guard one. I can't remember the No Respite, I think is the name of it. But I have some. Well, I suppose it is official, but in White Dwarf Magazine and Blackstone Fortress Annual, there is additional content for the game that uses other models from the Warhammer 40,000 line. So I will be painting some of those next with some rather unique color schemes to fit in with Blackstone Fortress. So, until then, I am Ian Stuckey with Mastermind Games, signing out.